So that brings us to the combination of both. So that intro plays, the music adds on to the ends, and I fade the music and I talk over it. It's like an intro into an actual intro, because every episode, every podcast should have some sort of a live intro, because even if, like the Ambiguous Podcast Solution, I still need to introduce my guest, right? I still need to introduce myself because I'm the one hosting this episode. So I still need some sort of a cold open. So now I just made it a little cooler with some music under it. So that's why I do the combo. It's my personal choice. All my podcasts have some sort of pre-recorded intro with the music bed, and it goes into my cold open where I plug all my content, social media sites, etc. It essentially kills two birds with one stone. So the pros, it makes you sound very professional and informative, all as well as creative, right? It creates a format of uniqueness since the pre-recorded is the same, but the cold is always different. So you're getting the exact same thing, but different.
Familiar but fresh.
Ooh, I'm going to use that. I'm going to write that down. Familiar but fresh. And new listeners get a great first impression, right? So if they're newly listening to it, they're like, okay, I get it now. And then once the cold open comes in, they're like, oh, okay, who's I'm talking to? Or they can skip ahead and they can go right into the cold open, and it's right there.
You're giving people an opportunity to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And if your cover looks good, then that'll be an advantage. Kind of back to, should you do it yourself? Should you have somebody else do it? If you are capable, then do it. If you're a business, definitely have somebody else do it if you can't do it. But you're giving people to look at something shiny.
Yeah.
And if it's shiny and nice, then, people may tune in just for that reason. And then if your podcast is interesting, it's fun, it's entertaining, then that's another reason.
And all the cons are the same, right? It's show length, repeating information, and you got to get it made. So same thing, but hey, man, this is podcasting. You got to stick out. You got to be competitive. So let's give an example of the combo of both. So, Christian, play us the... You know what? Don't do the you... don't want to do you mad, bro? Yeah, no, do the you mad, bro, because I like the you mad, bro. Play the... No, it's not you mad, bro. Might be American Minutes. I don't know. Whichever one I sent you that isn't KOTR. Play that one.
Gotcha.
Those of this show are not experts. All information discussed and debated on the show is publicly available, and the opinions of the hosts are not fact. We apologize for any offense you may take and discourage any message of hate, violence, and discrimination, but such messages may be repeated from reportedly original sources for purposes of debate and discussion. We encourage your involvement in the discussion, but do not support any similar aforementioned message. You're listening to American Minutes.
Okay, it was American Minutes.
Is that Nash?
It is Nash. Well, look who's back from vacation, Mr. Nash, looking all bright and tan with your Hawaiian shirt. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the clock after a week hiatus. We in hiatus port? Where are we? Hiatus. We are back for another fun-filled episode talking all about housing. We're gonna do a super duper deep dive into the current state of the housing market, but where would I be without my partner in crime, Mr. Nash Moore? Rested and refreshed. Nash, how was Disney, my friend? I love you. I missed you.
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
All right, so I faded out there at the end, but you get the gist. So what we did there, we were covering, American Minutes was a political podcast, so it's covering current event news and politics. So we were going to step on some toes, so we add that disclaimer in the beginning, just saying like, hey, we might say some things you don't like on this podcast, so you have been warned. So that was our intro. And then we went into the music. That was a cold open. You can see I screwed up saying hyenas or whatever I said. But the music, the point I wanted to play that was the music. It started out with the remix version of the national anthem, which we had made for us. And it started out and dun, dun. And it goes, oh, say. Then I fade it and I talk over it. Right? So, but in the national anthem, this plays out until the end. So me and Nash are talking. And once it fades out, it's out. So that is an example of a combo of both, where you have the disclaimer, which takes place of our intro, and then we just get right into it. Make sense?
I also think it's a stylistic choice.
Very stylistic.
I mean, because you could have said something satirical right there. But you said something. Nash ended up saying something serious.
Yeah.
Because you could have been like, we're probably gonna piss you off while you're listening to this podcast, but continue listening. You could have done anything there, but I see what you did there, to let people know that might step on some toes.
Yeah, so he wrote and recorded that. Let's do the King's of the Rings one. Because so what we do now for Kings of the Rings, and this is two music beds. So we have our preview where Ricky, I honestly don't know if he writes these out or if they're off the cuff, but we start off with a actual preview song. And then he gives a monologue saying, come up on Kings of the Rings podcast, like a preview. And then we go into our main theme, fade it, and then our individual intros. So his intro is him as a host, as well as the show. Mine is me as a host and whatever my shenanigans I have. And then Kay Murphy with their shenanigans, whatever they have. So this clip's a little longer. It's probably about 2.5 minutes. But let's play that. Yep.
Midnight Music.
Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, as if Extreme Rules wasn't crazy enough, Bray Wyatt highlights a massive list of returns and surprises across all brands in WWE. Plus, Jon Moxley and Jericho sign extensions. We get our first glimpse of WrestleMania in Philly. MJF and William Regal have a promo for the ages, and WWE is going back to college. Oh yeah, by the way, we're also going to preview Halloween Havoc. We got 2 weeks of crazy wrestling news to talk about, and we're going to start it right now. So put on your hats as if you are a wrestling god from JBL, because it's Kings of the Rings Podcast, episode 313, banger after banger after banger, exclusively on Wrestle Addict Radio, and it starts right now.
Music fades up. New song. Not a clean cut, but it's okay. And then it pods down.
Oh, I'm so happy the Yankees won last night.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy 7 games, though, with Houston.
No, it's not going to at all, but we'll be here for all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings Podcast, episode number 312, 313. I forgot what fucking episode this is.
312, baby.
312. I was going to say it's 312. I might have said 313 in the intro, but whatever, my bad. Banger after banger. We were not able to do a show last week due to same.
So yeah, you get the gist, right? So that's also a stylistic choice. That was Vicky's idea. He says, let's do a preview, and then go into our cold open. That's a great idea. So, if you know you're going to a wrestling podcast, let's preview what we're going to talk about, and then from there we just talk about who we are and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are all different ways you can introduce your podcast, and it's stylistic. There is no right or wrong answer. It's really up to you for what you want to do.